Welcome to The Life of Hair. My name is James Atkinson. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode. Now, in this week's episode, it's going to be one of those critique style episodes that I do. And remember, that's not criticism. It's just simply pointing out how we could do things differently and how it might help you if you do these things currently and what you might be able to do to change, especially when we're cutting hair short. There's lots of things that we can do to make our lives easier. We can make cutting short hair a lot more enjoyable for those of you who do not enjoy cutting short hair in the salon or anywhere, no matter where it is, to be honest. There are some things that you have probably picked up, things that you may not know necessarily, that will help you along the way in this particular episode. Now, one thing I want to caveat this with is what my dad always told me when I played golf very seriously. James, it's not always about how well you hit the ball, it's how well you score. And that's really what I want to leave this particular intro on, is that, look, if she gets the job done and the client is happy, then amen. But there could be a different way of approaching this that might be a little bit easier, a bit more straightforward, and a little bit more repeatable. So, without further ado, I just want to say a massive thank you to all my Patreons who support the channel massively. And if you want to become a Patreon of The Life of Hair and join in with some private lives that we do on my Patreon, then do click the link down in the description. See you in the next one. So a massive thank you to Amal Hermes. Not very good with names, but there you go. Give it a crack. Thank you so much for this video, and it's great to see you producing content. She's got about 14,500 subscribers, so if you want to go and check out any one of her videos, her channel is linked down in the description as always.
Hi Barbara.
Hi.
She's first time here in Vivian Hair Design, and she come with this hairstyle I show you. So this is very long and this is short, and I can show you her hairstyle, see? And she don't like it, she's sick of tired of this hairstyle. So I will ask Barbara, what can we do for you, please?
Help.
Help. Yes.
I need this to sit down properly. I don't know how you do it, and I don't like the locks, don't like these.
Yeah.
And cut in at the back.
You want actually a nice, beautiful, trendy hairstyle, yes?
That's the word, trendy.
Okay, let me just explain for everybody in the world what we're gonna do. So what we're gonna do here is we take all the heaviness for here, we make a beautiful, nice, lovely fringe, and we will cut from here a little bit shorter, and shorter here, and voluma here. Actually, if you see here, there's no voluma, it's parting because she have a strong crown there. Unfortunately, they cut it very short. That's why it's parting. We're gonna do exactly the opposite way. So we're gonna cut shorter here, and long here to put a movement in her hair. And as I feel in her hair, very thick Irish hair, madre mia.
There we go. We can see she's got no voluma in her hair in the crown area. I love that word, voluma. I'm going to call it from now. Don't worry about volume anymore, guys. It's all voluma. So if we don't take anything else away from this video, then it's a new word for volume. A few things that I would point out and mention that in that consultation, and things that I want you to remember when we see what the haircut turns out like at the end of the video. So think really hard about what she said when you're looking at this haircut at the end of the video, and you will see some conflicting messages, and I want to talk about those conflicting messages later on in this video, so do stick around till the end to make sure you catch that. Now, she says she's going to cut it shorter, she's going to give her a trendy haircut, she's going to taper it in, and obviously the hairdresser pointed out that the balance is wrong. She's got a strong crown and she wants to leave this longer and softer and shorter here. Great, all of those things, absolutely superb. Totally agree with all the things she said, with exception to a few things that we see a bit further down the road. But anyway, we won't go on about that too much. We don't want to give away the end of this video, do we? So the first big thing that I really want to point out here, and it's one of those things when I see people doing it, I just wonder if you cross-check their hair, what it would look like. She is not using a traveling guide of any description. She's just scooping up hair and just cutting it off willy-nilly. Now, when you see this haircut at the end, the back is obviously could be a little bit more tapered down. You don't specifically get to the back in the finished result. You do and you don't. It's not dried, it's not smooth. You can't exactly tell whether it's all different lengths or not. But if you do this, if you haven't got a clear guide, when you check it horizontally, you'll have finger marks and divots out of it. It's something that you should always do. Take clean sections and make sure that you can see your previous section. And even if it means working a little bit slower through the technique, you're going to get such a better result. So when we take those sections, please make sure that the section that you take is not too far away from the previous section, so that you're not over directing hair into the previous section that you've just cut, and therefore creating uneven or longer areas traveling towards the back of the ears. Make sure that you're working methodically with clean sections. It will make all the difference, trust me. I know it feels like it's going to be more difficult in the beginning, but it really isn't. So again, drop that next section down. I've really got to jump in here and just ask where is the piece of hair that she's using from underneath to ascertain how much hair she's going to cut off. It just feels like she's picking up bits of hair and just cutting them off willy-nilly. Now, I'm not saying you do that, and I'm not saying that that's a habit that you've got into, but you know, there are obviously people doing that out there, and if you don't know how much hair you're cutting off from the previous section, it can quickly go really wrong. Okay, you can lose shape, lose balance in the haircut very quickly, and this can lead to all manner of problems, you know. So really do try and be diligent about the sections that you take, and you'll see that the sections she just scoops up a bit of hair and just cuts it. It fills me with fear just watching, because it would so easily go so wrong, this haircut. Quickly, just want to jump in here and talk to you about crossed legs, right? Because, you know, we were at college, people said, right, you know, if your client's got their legs crossed, make sure their legs are uncrossed, and etc. But do you know why? Do you actually know why someone would ask you to do that? And if you don't know why, and you just do it for the sake of it, that's as bad as just doing loads and loads of things like colouring hair without really knowing what your colour you're going to put on, or what end result you're going to. Just, it's like picking out a colour off the shelf. We've got to know why we are being told to do these things and what effect it will have on our client. Now, here's the thing, right? Because some people have mentioned it in my videos. Your client's got their legs crossed, you know. So let me demonstrate. Quick demonstration. I'm going to put my right leg over my left leg and see what happens. My right leg is now over my left leg. So there's no specific changes in my body position. My right leg is over my left leg, okay? Now, if I was the sort of person that would put my right leg over my left leg and then lean, well, this would be a problem, because some people then lean towards the side that they have put their leg over. Now, providing the hair is not past the shoulders, or you're not trying to cut the absolute most precise one length bob, then this doesn't really make a huge amount of difference. If they put one leg over the other and they sit perfectly square, like I am right now with my right leg over my left leg and sitting square, it makes absolutely no difference whatsoever, even if we are cutting the hair past the shoulders. So if your client's got their left leg over their right leg, or the right leg over their left leg, providing they're not leaning in the direction of the leg that is going over, it doesn't matter. So don't worry about it. it's okay. One thing I want you now to just observe is when she picks up a section, for instance, she's got her fingers held slightly diagonally. She's building up a bit of weight now. She said she was going to leave it longer in the crown. Obviously, that's something she's now going to have a finger angle to create that. But as she picks up the hair and goes to cut it, she's finding it awkward to get her hand in. So she's pivoting the section of hair to make it easier for her to get her hand in. Now that changes everything. If you are going to take a section of hair and pull it out from the head, straight out from the head, if you pivot your fingers left or right, when you are doing this, you will create uneven graduation. You'll create more graduation in one area that you didn't want. When you pull the hair out from the head, your fingers need to stay exactly where they were. If you can't get your hand in, then change your finger angle. Don't move your hand to accommodate your finger angle. I see this all the time from really, really experienced hairdressers. So if you're cutting hair, really be mindful that you've not fallen into that habit. It's so easy to do. I actually catch myself doing it from time to time. I give myself a right royal telling off. Now this thought was particularly interesting. She cut from the right hand side of the head all the way around to the left hand side just by scooping up the hair and moving around the head as she went. Now what that's always automatically going to create is over direction in this area. She's going to pull the hair backwards and it's going to create over direction until she gets to the opposite side, and then she's going to instinctively pull the hair out from the head square, or squarer than she did on those first few sections. And of course that is a problem, guys, because obviously when we are creating over direction from one side to the other, and unless she actually then went from the opposite side and worked her way all the way back round, which would be crazy because she'd be chasing this graduation around the head, you are creating imbalance in your work because of the nature of over direction. So think about it. Work to one specific point and then go from the opposite side and back to that specific point, or from one specific point, say the center back, and work out towards the edges. This will make a lot more sense when it comes to your personal, hair cutting skills, when you think about it in formulations in chunks, because she put a pre-section in. She pre-sectioned the hair off, which gave me great hope that she was going to use those pre-sections, but it was simply just to get the hair out of the way, it felt like. And obviously the pre-sections weren't hugely clean, so they weren't really giving her a clear roadmap to work from. They were just there. Well, they may as well not have been there in a lot of ways, because then when she dropped those sections down, she didn't utilize the fact that she'd pre-sectioned them off. So, but if you're going to sweep around like that, you are going to create over direction in one direction or the other, whichever way you go about it. And if you then go back in the opposite direction, well, then you can end up with all sorts of things happening. So it's really, really important that you're mindful about that body position, standing behind your sections and pulling them straight out from the head, making sure you're controlling your graduation and your over direction. I don't know how she didn't cut her ear off, to be honest. I know that I don't try and make these videos too, but I mean just a little bit more finesse around the ears there. Her ear was bright red. Did you see? Once she'd been yanking it around. Now look, I'm quite a vigorous hair cutter, I've got my clients' heads all over the show. but you know, yanking on their ear and just chomping away like that. I literally got my heart in my mouth. I was just waiting for her to snip the top off her ear. You know, there is too much hair around those ears because of the nature of the haircut that's gone so far. To be delicate, to remove very small amounts of hair, you know, there's lots of bulk and weight on that perimeter because of everything else that's gone on. That means that, you know, in reality it's just really, really bulky hair, and of course it needs a lot of snipping, but anyway, look, the reality is that it should have a more tapered result from the initial haircut, where it's then about refining the edges rather than using that as another step to cut the hair shape. It's just an added unnecessary step that, you know, could be done with a lot more finesse and adding to the haircut rather than utilizing that to kind of make the haircut what it should be. Definitely, I'm sure you're not doing that, but it's just something that like really caught my eye. So something I really want to just pick up on, especially when you're cutting clients who are a bit older, like this lovely client who is having her haircut in this video, their skin is softer. I mean, look, my skin stretches, you know, if we stretch my skin, it's all stretchy. If we pull the skin, especially on older clients, it stretches a long way. And if we pull it out of its natural fall, it's going to do all sorts of mad stuff. So you can see that she's got a lot of tension, a lot of pressure on the skin there. She's pulling down really, really hard, and it's moving the hair follicles in the skin. You know, the whole thing is moving. Try and avoid that, especially on your older clients, because when it's out of natural fall and then it goes back into natural fall, you've created untold amounts of movement within the hair. And anyway, look, just be really mindful of that. That tension is specifically apparent in the nape areas, where the skin gets really loose. You know, putting too much tension on your vertical sections and pulling the hair, and the skin comes away from the scalp, and then when you let go you can create finger marks and stuff. So just make sure that you hold that hair in between your fingers light enough that you don't stretch the skin. So one thing that I just want to quickly jump in and sort of show you now in this slow-mo section is that the finger angle is forever changing. She's pulling it out, she's setting her finger angle. When she brings her scissors in, she's moving her fingers to get her scissors in. This is a great moment to watch what might happen if you do this, because on one side, when we look at the finished result in a second, it's definitely heavier on one side than it is the other. She doesn't do it so much on one side than the other, and this is the danger. So let's just keep going and hopefully you'll see at the end. Okay, well, as you can see, cut the top there with no specific guide, just picked it up and cut it. Now, you know, that's obviously been the theme of the whole haircut. But finger angle shorter towards the front, but disconnected the fringe. And I think one of the things that she mentioned in the consultation was she was going to make the front lighter. So I'm not really sure why she's disconnected the fringe, which would therefore make the whole thing heavier towards the front. But, you know, when you look at the end result, maybe she did a little bit of refinement. It does look light-ish around the front at the end, but I don't really understand it from the video. It doesn't really show it very well. So that is definitely something to think about. But the whole kind of dragging everything into the center and just cutting a line and then just dragging everything from the other side into the center and cutting a line, to me, it can just leave so many hard to manage haircuts, really, and that's the reality. And at the end of this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about the consultation and what happened and different things like that, and kind of expectations versus reality. But you know, it can be so easy to leave somebody with a haircut that's totally unmanageable, and you can blow dry it and go to town on it when you are standing over it, but when they come to do it, and it just becomes so difficult for them. And that is what the joy of a precision haircut is. That's why a short haircut is not easy. I don't know, this lady's hair she might love it, but you know, when in my experience, and I'm purely talking from my experience, when I've got clients sitting in my chair and they're saying I'm really struggling, and they're brand new clients, and I'm looking at their hair, I can see that it's not had the level of care and attention and detail that a really good short haircut requires. So it's something just we really do need to hone our skills on short hair, and that's why it's difficult. That's why loads and loads of hairdressers don't necessarily enjoy doing short hairstyles, but they're very fruitful, so it's really worth getting good at them. Okay, and here is the finished result. Now, it looks great, it looks fantastic. We can see that on the left hand side, as we look at the image now, it's got a slightly lumpy area just where the two haircuts meet, and obviously that's all down to the finger angle. This is the opposite side to the side where she then went in and started to twist her finger angle. That is the right hand side as we look at it now, and you can see that is slightly flatter and not so graduated, and I don't necessarily think it looks specifically different. It's just a shorter version of what she came in with. And here's what I really want to wrap this video up with, and I've heard it 1,000,001 times, because for me the consultation is the most powerful tool we have in our toolkits. If we're great at consultations, we will be successful busy hairstylists. We will give people the haircuts they want. But if we're not great at consultations and we sort of say we're going to do something and we don't really do it, then obviously they're going to be disappointed and they're going to find a new stylist. So look, she said to her that she was going to give her something trendier, and that she asked for something flatter, and she said that she was going to give her a different shape, which I don't think she gave her a specifically different shape. She gave her a shorter version of the same thing. Now, yes, she left it a bit longer in the crown, which might have made it a bit easier to manage, but you know, the woman said herself she doesn't really like her hair. She wanted something different and trendy. So whatever trendy is to this woman is obviously not a shorter version of what she came in with specifically, because otherwise then she'd have just said, well, give me a trim and I like the shape I've got. So here's the thing, you know, this woman said to her client, I'm going to do this, this and this. And I don't specifically feel like she's delivered on what she said she was going to do in the consultation. And that is a common thread of lots and lots of consultations I've had with clients over the years. I make really, really thorough consultations with my client to ensure that they get what they want at the end of the day. I'm really, really specific in creating really thorough consultations. Now, the reality of, you know, having those thorough consultations is the clients then notice that these thorough consultations have taken place, and I ask them questions that they then turn around to me and say, no one has ever asked me that just before they're about to cut my hair. So if you then don't follow through with what you say you're going to do, or you create something that is obviously then just similar to what they had previously when they actually already said, help me, you know, she said it, help me, you know, I don't love what I've got. It is defeating the object. Even if it was an amazingly well done, technical, brilliant haircut, it wouldn't really make a huge amount of difference, because obviously she actually said that she was going to do one thing and she did the polar opposite, which blows my mind. Anyway, look, as I said, I don't want to go down the road of criticism, because the lady, she looks happy, good stuff. And obviously this lady's paying her bills doing hair, and she's got a fair amount of subscribers, so she's doing something right. But when we are coming to do short hair and you guys are struggling, hopefully there's some things that you can learn from watching this video today. So if you've enjoyed it, then hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and chat to me down in the comment section. I love to hear from you guys, and I would love to hear from Amal. Give me a shout, Amal. I love the fact that you've got a YouTube channel. I applaud any creator who goes out their way to make videos and try and educate people on how to make a living doing hair. Have a wonderful week, and I'll catch you again in another episode very, very soon.